I guess most models love to support a new company. The only question, is it worth it? Let's take a closer look at Thunder Model's first release, the US Army Tractor Case VAI. The front of the box art shows the tractor on an Air Force airfield with flying fortresses in the background. I won't buy a kit because of the box art, but I must admit that I like this one. The two short sides show the front box art again. One of the long sides shows a built model from different angles and gives us a brief history on the tractor. Unfortunately, a part of the history is covered with the seal of the box. On the other long side we find some general information on plastic kits. On the back of the box there are pics of two new kits. The heads are Vagabonds and the US Army Loader. It's based on the Case tractor. The first thing we see when we open the box are the instructions and the color call-out. I show them in detail after we looked at the sprues. There are two sprues and I don't know why, but I expected more parts. It's a small vehicle, and how many sprues did I imagine to see? The sprues are packed in one bag each and look very nice. Here's sprue A. Rear axle, driver's seat and the two parts of the tank. Here we have some parts for the engine, like the oil pan, header and intake unit and the starter. Up to now I have no idea what the other parts are. The V-shaped part belongs to the front suspension. Then we have the radiator and parts for the engine cover. The close-up of the radiator reveals very nice and crisp detail. No need to mention that there's no flash at all. The front axle and two pedals. A view of the sprue's underside and the ejector pin marks. They're all in invisible areas, and as far as I can say now, there's no need to fill or remove them.
Hey, 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 good looking, if you're not already tooken, won't you meet me soon in the moonlight? Why don't we...
Here are 6 bolts that need to be shaved off the sprue. I'm not quite happy with it, and I wonder why these bolts weren't molded onto the parts where they belong. And now for sprue B. The grille looks really nice. The rear fenders and the top engine covers detail are very crisp. Parts for front and rear rims. Engine block, transmission and the covered drive shaft come as 2 parts only, but they're nicely done. The fenders have a couple of ejector pin marks on the outer side. These might be visible, so I better take care of them. These here will most likely be invisible, but I'll check before the build. The rest of the ejector pin marks don't need any filling and sanding because they won't be seen.
What's cooking? Do you feel like booking some fun tonight? Hey, good looking, if you're not already tooken, meet me soon in the light of the moon. Why don't we do
rear rubber tires? They look nice, but there's a nasty seam line on the rear tires. It'll be some work to get rid of them. So far that's the only, well, mistake.
Given and we'll begin cooking that delish little dish called love.
The PE fret is protected with clear tape. Not many parts, but they look nice. The floor plates, the fan, the dashboard and a couple of small parts. The decals look a little yellowish, but the carrier film seems to be thin. I'll go for the army version and cut off the edges as close as possible. I almost overlooked the dials. I hope they'll be easier to see on the dashboard. The painting and marking guide comes in full color on glossy paper. Only MIG colors are mentioned. Well, I know which Tamiya colors to use. I prefer color callouts with more brands. There's also an option for a civilian tractor, and if I should build this kit again, I'll give that a go. The instructions start with an explanation of the symbols. I don't want to say much about the instructions, only that they're clear, easy to follow, and not too busy. They're stapled and the print is immaculate. And now it becomes clear why there are extra bolts on the sprue. Since the complete drivetrain comes in two halves, it would have been complicated to make the sprues in a way that the bolts could be molded on. One might call the drivetrain under-engineered and the bolts over-engineered.
She's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosie, the riveter, keeps a sharp lookout for sabotage. Sitting up there on the fuselage, that little frail can do more than a male can do. Rosie, the riveter. Rosie's got a boyfriend, Charlie. Charlie, he's a Marine. Rosie is protecting Charlie, working overtime on the riveting machine. When they gave her a production knee, she was as proud as a girl could be. There's something true about red, white, and blue about Rosie, the riveter. Rosie, working on assembly line.
An unusual place for the sprue map, but there is one. I say it at the end of all of my reviews. As long as I haven't started assembling the kit, there can't be a conclusion. The kit looks very nice and appears to be a not too difficult build. I don't know if that impression is right or wrong. You'll hear more about it in the build log.